Today we're continuing our way through the book of Luke. We're in Luke chapter 2, verses 41 to 52. Hi friends, I'm Miss Nancy Ruth.
And I'm Mr. Roger.
We want to see kids living for Jesus.
This is a really interesting passage and one that people kind of wonder about. So let's look at it. It was about the time for Passover, which was a very special feast and festival in the Jewish faith and tradition in the Old Testament. And so as part of this Jewish Passover celebration, the Jesus family all went to Jerusalem. Jesus was about 12 at this time. So they packed up the whole family, his mom and dad and brothers and sisters, and they all went to Jerusalem together in a big group. Now, if you're wondering about Jesus' brothers and sisters, check out this video, Was Joseph God? I think I retitled it, but I'll put a link in the card above, and we talk about that as well as what happened to Joseph. Okay, so they packed all the family up and everybody all together, and they went to Jerusalem. And after the festival, they packed up and headed home, and Jesus wasn't with the group, but they didn't know that yet. Okay, this is where it gets confusing, because Hebrews 4:15 says that Jesus never sinned, not even once. One definition for sin is missing the mark. It's not perfect, but Jesus was perfect. He always hit the mark. He always did exactly what he was supposed to do because he's God and God is perfect. So if Jesus wasn't with the group when they all left, how is that not a sin? We're going to figure that out here. Let's keep looking. Okay, so there was a whole crowd that went with them because it was safer to travel in groups. And so probably they had friends and neighbors and family and all the things were traveling together. Okay. And Jesus' parents probably just assumed he was somewhere in the group because he was obedient. He was always doing the right thing. Okay. Well, they traveled the whole day and they were setting up camp for the night. And they were looking around and Mary's like, anybody seen Jesus? Anybody seen Jesus? They started looking, hey, and they asked all their neighbors and their friends and everybody who's traveling with them, you see Jesus? Anybody seen Jesus? They couldn't find him anywhere. In fact, they were worried about him, as any parent would be. So they went back to Jerusalem and had to search and try to find, where's Jesus? They looked all over the place and could not find him. Then they found him. He was in the temple with the teachers there, and he was listening and he was asking them questions. And in fact, everybody who heard him was amazed at what he understood and the answers he gave to the questions that were asked of him. And so his parents find him here in the temple talking with the teachers. And Mary's like, whoa, son, where you been? I've been looking all over. I've been frantic. Where have you been? And Jesus said, didn't you know I would be in my Father's house? Now, those who heard him didn't understand what he was talking about. And that's fair. But here's what he meant. See, Jesus is fully God, and God is his Father. Okay, we talked about in that video I referred you to that Joseph is his adopted daddy. His real daddy is God. So Jesus is fully God, but he's also fully human. And that's very important because that makes him uniquely able to take our punishment for sin by dying on the cross and coming back to life again. But that's something that at the age of 12, his parents didn't fully understand. And honestly, most people didn't fully understand until after he came back to life again. But Jesus then was obedient to his parents and went with them, and they all went home, and he continued to be obedient to them. Okay, so one of the things I love about these early chapters in Luke is it constantly said that Mary treasured these things in her heart. And it doesn't necessarily say that in this passage, but I have a hunch that she did. She kept thinking about these things like, I don't get this, but I think this is important. That's what I interpret that to mean. So this is just one of those stories. That's one of the only stories we have of when Jesus was a child, when he was 12. But then it says one of my absolute favorite verses. Jesus then increased in wisdom, in stature, in favor with God, and favor with other people. Wisdom is not just knowing the right thing to do, but also doing it. Okay. Stature is physically. He physically grew up. Favor with God. He continued to live a life that was pleasing to the Lord, and favor with other people. So other people saw that he was a good man, growing into a good man. In fact, I love this verse so much that it's the framework for 40 scriptures to pray over your children, and you can check that out on our website. If you would like a family Bible study that goes along with this passage, make sure you either click the URL. I think QR code, there it is, or you can click the link below to join the E-Team.
Don't forget to subscribe. We post memory verses in 4 translations, key passages, answers to Bible questions, and more. Check out our store and freebies at parentroadmin.com. We love you, friends. See you next time.